Number 5. Steve Ballmer, with a net worth of $91 billion. Ballmer is an American businessman and sports team owner, mostly because he owns the sports team the Los Angeles Clippers and his association with Microsoft. Speaking of his association with Microsoft, Ballmer made a not insignificant amount of his wealth from owning 333.3 million shares of Microsoft stock. And in 2000, Ballmer replaced Bill Gates as CEO, remaining in that position until 2013 when he was replaced by Satya Nadella. Long before Ballmer became the 14th richest person in the world, he, like some of us, was a baby. Born in 1956 in Detroit, Michigan, he lived a rather affluent life in the rich community of Farmington Hills. He studied in the International School of Brussels in his youth, as well as Lawrence Technical University and Detroit Country Day School. He also attended Harvard University, where he graduated cum laude and met future conspiracy theory protagonist Bill Gates, who was also a student there. In 1980, Bill Gates convinced Ballmer to become Microsoft's first ever business manager. And even though Ballmer was studying at Stanford Graduate School of Business at the time, he took up the offer and dropped out. Steve Ballmer's net worth between the time he took the job at Microsoft to his retirement skyrocketed from $85 million to $24 billion, to the surprise of nobody. In 2014, Ballmer acquired the LA Clippers for $2 billion after its former owner Donald Sterling was given a lifetime ban for saying some stuff he shouldn't have said and for being an all-around terrible human being. These days, Steve spends his time with his wife Connie Snyder and his 3 children enjoying basketball. Number 4. Larry Ellison, with a net worth of $101 billion. Larry Ellison made an incredible amount of money by being the CEO and founder of a tech company you just might never have heard of, Oracle, a tech company whose job would definitely require its own video. All you need to know is that Larry Ellison has used Oracle to become the 7th richest person in the world. He was even briefly the richest person in the world during the 1990s. He has also at various times been the highest paid executive in the world, with a salary above $90 million in some years. Larry Ellison's tale of wealth has been regarded as a true rags to riches story, going from little to becoming one of the wealthiest people on the planet. So, what's his story? Larry Ellison was born in New York City and was put up for adoption when he was still a toddler. After that, he lived in a middle-class neighborhood in Chicago's South Shore. Ellison attended South Shore High School in Chicago and later the University of Illinois as a pre-med student, where he was named Student of the Year. He eventually withdrew without taking his final exams and later attended the University of Chicago, where he also withdrew without taking any exams. He's had quite a few jobs in the tech industry, which ultimately influenced him to create Oracle, which was successful enough to compete with Sybase and Microsoft SQL Server. Other than that, Ellison has been married and divorced 4 times, loves his fast cars, owning an Audi R8, a McLaren F1, and his favorite, an Acura NSX. And most importantly, he had his very own cameo in Iron Man 2, everyone's favorite sequel. Number 3. Mark Zuckerberg, with a net worth of $125 billion. If you didn't know already, Mark Zuckerberg is the founder and CEO of Facebook. He's also the 5th richest person in the world. Unsurprisingly, a vast amount of Mark's wealth comes from his shares in Facebook. And if you for some reason don't know what Facebook is, well, it's that site you probably regret opening an account on 10 years ago. On top of being the CEO of Facebook, he owns around 400 million total shares of Facebook, giving Mark 58% of the company's total voting power. So the next time Facebook goes through another confusing redesign, you know exactly who to blame. Mark Zuckerberg was born in White Plains, New York in 1984. In middle school, he began using computers and writing software. By the time he reached high school, he had developed multiple bits of sophisticated software, including a music player he called Synapse Media Player. A music player so groundbreaking, Microsoft bid several $1 million to buy it. By the time Mark enrolled at Harvard in 2002, he already had a reputation as a programming prodigy. By 2004, Zuckerberg launched Facebook, originally named The Facebook, eventually dropping out of Harvard in his sophomore year to work on Facebook. But don't worry about Mark, he'll always be a Harvard graduate at heart. Well, that and in 2017, he received an honorary degree from Harvard. Zuckerberg is currently living in California, or frankly, wherever he pleases. He is a multi-billionaire, along with his wife Priscilla Chan and his 2 daughters. Number 2. Elon Musk, with a net worth of $156 billion. You can't really talk about wealthy wealthy CEOs without talking about Elon Musk. He's probably the most popular CEO out there. Heck, more people know about Elon Musk than what CEO actually stands for. But for those of us not in the know, Elon Musk is a South African-born Canadian-American. He's a businessman, inventor, investor, and CEO of SpaceX, chief product architect of Tesla Motors, and chairman of Solar City. Pretty impressive resume, I must say. Only slightly more impressive than mine, though. There are a lot more openings for disembodied voice than you would think. Elon Musk was born in Pretoria, South Africa in 1971. He bought his first computer at the age of 10 and taught himself how to program. By the time he was 12, he made his first software sale, a game he created called Blaster. At age 17, he moved to Canada to attend Queen University. He left to study business and physics at the University of Pennsylvania. He eventually went to further his education at Stanford University, where he, like most of the billionaires on this list, eventually dropped out. Elon Musk has been rather successful in his tech career and has a long history of lucrative creations to show for it. Musk's first company was called Zip2 Corporation, which he sold for $307 million in cash and $34 million in stock options. In 1999, he co-founded X.com, which led to the creation of PayPal, which was sold to eBay in 2002 for $1.5 billion in stock. And these are just two examples. He's had many successful enterprises since then, SpaceX and Tesla, to name a couple. These days, Elon is busy trying to colonize Mars and spending time with his wife Grimes and his son, lovingly named after a fighter jet. Number 1. Jeff Bezos, with a net worth of $201 billion. You probably already guessed who is going to be at the top of this list, or you might have confused him with a slightly more popular bald man, Pitbull. Understandable, it happens. Bezos, however, has not released any albums yet, unfortunately. But he is the founder, CEO, president, and chairman of the board of Amazon.com, if that makes up for it. I mean, it doesn't, but what can you do? Jeff Bezos currently owns 55 million shares, roughly 12% of the total shares of Amazon, one of the largest companies in the United States. It's no surprise he overtook Bill Gates to become the wealthiest person in the world back in 2017. In April 2019, Bezos transferred 19.7 million shares to his ex-wife as part of their divorce settlement. The value of the shares at the time of the transfer being $36 billion. The settlement temporarily reduced his net worth from $150 billion to $114 billion. But seeing as now he's currently worth $201 billion, the settlement really wasn't much of a setback. Bezos was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He would use his parents' garage as a laboratory for his science projects in his youth and spend his summers at his grandparents' ranch. He attended Princeton University, where he graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science and electrical engineering. Bezos was fascinated with the World Wide Web and decided to sell books online. He drew up the business plan for Amazon during a cross-country drive from New York to Seattle, officially founding the company in 1994, setting up the original business in his garage. Bezos has amassed an incredible amount of wealth over the years, with speculation that in the next few years he might become a trillionaire. These days, his interests seem to be less grounded, pun intended. The pun being, he, like many other wealthy people, is looking to conquer the final frontier, space. And there you have it, the wealthiest CEOs on the planet, who also happen to be some of the wealthiest people in the world. Coincidence? Maybe. So who's your favorite CEO out of the bunch, and why is it